Hey y'all, always good to see you here on Grassroots Gardening. I'm Ryan and today we are inside of my home. A couple of you ask how crazy I go during the winter when I'm unable to go out in the garden, and I basically would go insane if I were unable to have something to do that was plant related. And so I wanted to show you guys a few projects I've been working on here inside the house that has allowed me to bring even more houseplants to the inside. I think that they just add a depth of warmth and really a therapeutic value just having these live plants inside your home. You know, they filter the air, they give off oxygen, it helps you sleep, and they're just my therapy. So I wanted to share a few projects with you. We're just going to do the living room today, but I am working on other rooms in the house, so now would be a great time if you would hit that like and subscribe down there so that you can follow along as we transition the house to incorporate more plants on the inside. And I got some really neat projects I'm fixing to show you. I'm super proud of them. I think they turned out great. So let me get y'all flipped around so you can check them out. So we'll start as you kind of enter the house. You come down the hallway, and this is our living room. So our home is really a pole barn style home. Big open floor plan. We were able to just have a really open living area, which I really like. And I've just incorporated a ton of plants to the interior of our home, and I love how it turned out. I started with this little project here a few weeks back, and so this is just some hanging shelves. And what I've done is anchor into studs into the wall there, and then just simply get some, I got this lumber at Lowe's. I think this is a 2x8s on the bottom, and then a 2x6 is the top shelf. And real simple, I just drilled some holes in it and ran this rope down through it and tied the knots. Now a little hack, it was hard to get them level. So what I did was unstrand some of the rope, and then you can just wrap it around this area and to kind of get your shelves level, because as you add, you know, things to the shelf, plants, pots, books, whatever, it kind of makes one side get heavier and they're really hard to get perfectly level. So just a little hack there, because it took me a while trying to retie each knot and it's kind of aggravating. But what we've done is just, let's see, on the top, I've got that really cool air plant that's going to bloom really soon. So that's a Tillandsia. And I've just got a little tray up there. I'll mist some water into there just to keep it kind of humid. And it seems to really like that spot. And then we've got a little Buddha head up there with, I believe that's Sansevieria. The second shelf, we've got this really nice Cebu blue philodendron. And next to it, just some cactus. And I just threw some rocks and stuff up on the shelves and a few books. Just some little trinkets and kind of like leave space on the shelves. That way if I find stuff on travels, you know, you can bring it back and put it kind of on display. Got a really nice Hoya right here with some cool pink leaves coming out, and I just let it trail right off of that lower shelf. Now something that turned out really cool is this Monstera Peru. And so what I've done is just kind of ran it right up the rope. Got a little metal clasp up there that I ran it through. And then it goes along these cool floating shelves that I built. And I just kind of weaved it through the handles of the pots up there, and it's going insane. Matter of fact, I've got to get another pot or something to keep it going down the shelf, because it's now getting in the way of the TV, and well, we just can't have that. So still got a bunch of room up there on those shelves. Those are a little more difficult. I actually watched a YouTube video on how to build them, and I suck at carpentry, so I was really happy that they're actually staying on the wall. And then just kind of wanted to continue the plant theme. So I found these pictures and the stained glass picture of the leaves, and just got me some candle holders off of Amazon. Y'all know I order everything off of Amazon. And right here we've got us a pretty good sized money tree, just kind of in a pot that's got a few legs and a bowl to catch the excess water. And oh, I should mention, so it's winter time, as we stated before, and it's cold outside. So I have a fireplace, which makes it a little challenging to keep these plants wet enough, because that thing gets really hot, and of course the heat rises. So the ones on the top shelf up here really require a little bit more attention and water. Now the heater, of course, heats the inside of the home, but then also what I did, I installed a vent right there, and so that is an intake. This one is an outlet, but that one there is an intake, and what I did was run a duct to our outdoor greenhouse, and so it's got an inline fan, and as the heat rises off of the stove, we can pump the hot air, free hot air, into our greenhouse. So just a little idea if you have a similar situation of how to get some cheaper heat into a greenhouse or even another room. And we had these little birds, so I just kind of rearranged them, making them look like they're flying kind of up onto the shelf there. And I'm not an interior designer by any means, so if y'all have any ideas of if I should move some stuff, because I just kind of throw junk wherever I think it looks good. And let's see, on this side we've got the Scindapsus. It's struggling a little bit. You see some brown leaves, and that is because I took it outside to clean it up and water it really well on a nice pretty outside day, and then I left it in the sun and it hated it. And so but it's coming back. Matter of fact, you can see some new growth coming out right here, so he's going to be fine, but he's just got to shed those leaves from where I let him get sunburnt. And then I've got another Hoya and a little hanging, I forget what you call those things, but anyway, got him in the little hanging rope thing there, whatever the name of it is. And we've got a pothos here that's liking its spot right there. This is an east facing window, and so we got plenty of light that comes through. And I had my windows clean until last night. A raccoon was curious about what was inside of the house, so he kind of put his little paws all over my clean windows. So one of the good things about this YouTube video, it forced me to kind of clean my house up a little bit. While we're standing here, look at our raised bed out there, you guys. And I know you can see me in the reflection too, but the leaves on those collards are just insane. It won't be long, and we'll do a video of cooking those up. The broccoli's coming along great. That little raised bed has just killed it. So if you want to see the video of how we built that and planted it, we've got some videos there on our YouTube page where you can watch us actually build that thing. But anyway, well, back to the inside plants. This is one of my favorites. So this is a Micans philodendron, and I love how in the morning when we get this morning light coming through, look how pretty that is. Those nice purple leaves, and they're almost iridescent. Hopefully you guys can see how they almost sparkle, but really pretty plant. And I'm just kind of letting it go crazy, and I've just draped it over a nail in the wall there. I just really want to get this whole thing just plantified up, you know, just have plants everywhere. Then we've got us a rubber tree and a nice big pot. And I've had to put rocks in all of the pots because of that dude right there. He likes to use the bathroom in the potting soil. So I have to put rocks in all these pots, and then I usually sprinkle a little cayenne pepper on top too to keep our buddy Pepe out of the plants. Then we've got an Aglaonema right here. I don't know the variety or the cultivar name, but I'm really liking these Aglaonema because they look awesome for one. And here's another. I love the leaves on them, but what I really like about them is they don't require a lot of water. These probably get watered once every 2 weeks, maybe sometimes even 3 weeks. So really cool house plant. I'm starting to gain a lot of respect for the Aglaonemas. They weren't my favorite, but they do great inside the home. Then we've got a Majesty palm that I brought from the greenhouse and put in this nice big tall pot there. Got some Calatheas. I'm starting to figure them out too. They like to be a little more on the dry side, which makes them a great house plant, but they do like high humidity conditions, which is difficult again to do with the stove. So you see I've got a pot of water. I always keep that thing full, so it just is constantly letting out a little bit of moisture. And as we're moving around, I know I'm going back on you guys, but here's just another calathea that we've got. And another idea that maybe you want to try to incorporate that's very cheap and turned out pretty cool is the bamboo. So I was trying to hide all the wires behind the electronics there, and I also wanted to use this cool table with these brass parrots, but you could see all the wires. So I just got this bamboo, just cut it out of the yard, let it dry, and then stained it and built a little frame and just connected the pieces of bamboo to the frame. So real cheap, but yeah, still cool looking and sticking with the plant theme, kind of a backdrop to hide the wires. And I think I still need to put a cap along the top of it to hide the top of the bamboo. Anyhow, let's keep moving on around. This is going to be really cool. So I've got a Monstera albo. So this is a variegated Monstera that I had in the greenhouse, and I picked up this pot really cheap. It's got a huge crack on the other side, and I had to be super careful moving it, so I didn't want it to fall apart. But I paid like $10 for that beautiful pot right there with the hand-painted tree on it, and stuck a Monstera albo in it, as well as a little Rex begonia that's kind of hiding down the bottom. But what I want to do is allow these aerial roots to literally attach themselves to the wall. Now, I've been warned, and I realize that yes, the roots can be destructive, so I'm going to have to kind of keep them in check. But I just took these little horseshoe nails and just kind of tapped them into the wall in order to hold the roots to the wall. And then what they'll do is they will just kind of glue themselves to the wall, and I want to try to keep them going on up the wall. I think it'll look really cool. Hopefully, now I will go ahead and warn you, if you ever try to move this thing, it's going to take the paint with it. Those roots can attach themselves to basically anything. I've had them attached to concrete, metal, wood, whatever. They're going to stick to it. So we'll kind of have to see how this project goes. Hopefully it's not a huge mistake. I've got a new leaf unfurling on this albo. Nice variegation to it. This is just one of my absolute favorite plants of all time. And then we've got a nice big philodendron down here next to it, just adding a big pop of green. And I found this little Monstera artwork, of course, on Amazon. So I thought I'd just stick it right there. I've got this air plant. So this is another Tillandsia that I've had for, probably 5 years now. And I just draped it over the frame of this big staghorn fern, and it's really seeming to like it right there in that spot. But I thought that looks pretty cool. Again, hopefully I won't regret it when I have to move it one day and it takes the whole wall with it. And so in this corner we've got another Majesty palm. I've got a variegated rubber tree, which I really like, and it's doing good. That's a rattlesnake calathea, and it's struggling a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. Got some browning of the leaves. I do know that calatheas are very sensitive to what kind of water you use. You really are supposed to use distilled, or even better yet, rainwater with the calatheas. So that might be what's happening there, because I'm just using city water. And we may have to change that up a little bit and see if we can get that guy back healthy. Then we've just got a split leaf philodendron, as well as a normal Monstera deliciosa combined in the same pot. For what reason, I don't remember, but it is what it is at this point. And then we just kind of keep walking on around. This is my office / plant room. Got a nice big philodendron there. I believe that is a giganteum, but I can't ever remember. I've got another little, I believe that's a parlor palm in that pot with a variegated cast iron plant. And that just took some broken pieces of pottery and covered them with a little bit of chili powder, again to keep the cat out. We've got a Monstera adansonii in a pot above our little booze cabinet here, and I've just kind of draped it all over the cabinet and walls. And this might be red Congo philodendron. I hate to give y'all names that I'm not 100% about, so maybe leave it in the comments below if you know, but I think that's what that one is. And then the stick plant has just grown all up into the blinds, and I don't know how in the world I'm going to move him, because he's surely going to break if I do try to move him. So he'll just be hanging out there for a little while. Some more philodendrons and calatheas down under the cabinet. Then we've got some aloe and some different sedums, variegated peperomia, and then this is my aquascape mini pond, and I love this thing. It adds just well, one, it adds a bunch of humidity, but two, I really just like the sound that it makes, and you can control that with the depth of water, and you can move the rocks around. So a really cool little aquascape mini pond there. Those have been real popular down at the store. Got another pothos hanging here too, another aglaonema, and then this is a clivia. This thing has really bright orange flowers. Usually flowers in the summer, but it's also just got cool foliage. You can just see how it kind of stays parallel, so I put it in that real skinny pot, but I think it looks cool. Got another albo in the corner here with heavy variegation. There's my old Making It Grow hat from when that crew came down and did a show at our nursery. And then if you remember in the video not too long ago, I had this Vanda hanging out in the greenhouse, and so from time to time I just like to bring in stuff that's blooming, just to add a little bit of color to the house. And then we've got this is a Monstera leclerriana. Hopefully I said that correct. Got some cool fenestrations, unusual kind of holes that pop up in the leaves of this plant, and so it should trail down, or we could force it to trail up, whatever we want to do. Another big staghorn over here in the corner, just hanging. He usually goes out on the porch in the summertime, so I just was able to bring him in and green up the area a little bit more. Here's my little desk. That's where I sit and edit the videos that you're watching and do a little reading. It's just a nice, quiet little nook. You can see the pond in the background there, and I don't know, this is kind of like my little happy place. And I can stare out in the woods too and see deer and whatnot. Now we'll move over to the kitchen area, which hopefully is somewhat clean for y'all's viewing pleasure. And again, just trying to use natural things that don't cost a lot of money to add these plants into the house. And so that's literally just a log that I found in the woods, cut it with the chainsaw, and hung it from the ceiling there, and then just screwed some little hooks into the log and was able to hang these air plants and little glass terrariums, just hang them from that log. And then in the windowsill here, we've got us variegated Hindu rope, which is the type of Hoya. And I think it's really neat to just add water to some of these vases and then just stick plants in them, and you can watch them, literally watch them root. And then you can create new plants that you can either pot up and put in your house or give away, and it's free plants. Super easy to do. So these are just some like little jugs and vases we found that were just kind of painted opaque, and so just fill them with water, and I'll just cut pieces of plants, throw them in here, and let's see if we got any roots. Yeah, so see there, that one's ready to go in dirt, and you've got a whole nother plant. But it just kind of adds a little bit of a natural vibe, I feel like, to the kitchen sink. And yes, there's my ladder. Had to work on the roof a little bit, and y'all know my channel. This is a real world channel, so you're going to see stuff like that just in the background. Now I've put these two big dracaenas kind of out in the middle. That's actually my sad attempt at a Christmas tree, and I'm not done wrapping presents yet, so hey, Santa's busy. That's our Christmas tree for this year. And another dracaena, which some people call corn plants because the stalk kind of resembles a corn stalk. But they're very easy house plants, require very little care, and can handle some super low light conditions. And over here on this wall, I had this really cool pot down at the nursery. It's a very oblong pot called a boat pot, but I like the blue color. And then so I just threw a standard Monstera deliciosa in there, and they can really handle some low light conditions, and are very forgiving houseplant. This is what they call the mini monstera, Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. It's got some cool looking leaves to it. I like how the fenestrations cut really deep into it. Just gives it really neat texture. And then we just had some of these really cool face pots that I threw some string of turtles in. Got Sansevieria in that one, and then a string of dolphins, which is a very popular little plant right now. You can see how the leaves look like little jumping dolphins. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, found this cool terrarium, actually mini greenhouse. We have these for sale at the nursery as well. And this is a Phragmipedium orchid. Loves high humidity, so with that straw in that terrarium, I'm able to kind of mist and keep it wet and keep it happy. So hopefully he'll throw out a bloom here pretty soon. And another way, I'm going to show you guys this little thing. I just bought this, yes, off Amazon. But I met these guys too at a trade show, and they've invented this little mister that's battery powered. So you just charge it, and this thing is money, you guys. So for example, you just click the little button here. There we go. And it just sprays a fine mist, and it's able to keep these plants really, really humid. I had the type before that, you know, you just have to manually do. In your hand, it would get tired. I mean, look at all these plants. And I like to mist them pretty regular because it keeps them happy. So this is a really neat little thing that I found. Game changer for sure. I love it. In fact, I think I'm going to order another one for the nursery. Well guys, that's my living room. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love it when you guys leave comments, so drop a comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to see on future videos. And always remember, the more you know, the more you grow. We'll see you on the next video, y'all. Take care.